Good morning, students. Today we have Math Lesson 94 for April 7th, 2020. Our lesson today, we are talking about using estimation when we're dividing by two-digit numbers. So we have previously discussed breaking this into a smaller problem and then using the trick of 1 going into 5. But guess what? That's not logical when we have 19, is it? Because if we multiplied 19 times 5, we would get 95. Now, obviously, that is much larger than 59. So what we need to do is we need to use the strategy of estimation and then looking at that first digit to see. So when we look at 19 and we look at 59, we know that 59 being divided by 19 would have to be, we could round the 19 to 20, we could round the 59 to 60, and that would make our problem much easier to figure out and use that first digit trick. So we're looking at this, we can go, okay, 2 goes into 6 3 times. So we can estimate that 19 will go into 59 about 3 times. So we multiply. 9 times 3 is 27. We put 7 there. 1 times 3 is 3 plus the 2 from the 27. We have 57. Then we need to subtract. 9 subtract 7 is 2, and 2 is our remainder. Now, as we look at our next problem, we are adding a digit. So we have a 3-digit dividend, 595 divided by 19. Well, we do the same thing. We break it down into a smaller problem. We have our 59 divided by 19. We turn that into 60 divided by 20. We know that we multiply the 3 first. 19 times 3 is 57. Then we subtract. I am not fond of the way they did this division problem because the 2 should be under the 7 because we are subtracting 7 from 9 and getting 2. But we will continue just as long as you recognize that that is not lined up properly. All right, then we multiply 19 times 1. We get 19. We subtract the 19 from the 25, and we end up with 6. So 595 divided by 19 is 31 with a remainder of 6. All right, this is a very short lesson, so we are going to get most of our work done in our lesson practice. All right, so I have the problems written on a piece of paper, and I started off with A, and I worked through A already for you. So we have 792 divided by 19. So I turned, when I wanted to estimate to figure out what I was going to divide, or what I was going to multiply that by, I looked at my 19 and I turned it to 20. I looked at my 792 and I turned it to 800. 2 goes into 8 4 times. So I did my 19 times 4. Now I did the problem over here, 19 times 4, and I got 76. I also wanted to show you that there are two ways. I did the problem over here also. I did 9 times 4 is 36. I put my 6 there. I put my 3 above the 1. Then I did 1 times 4 is 4, plus 3 is 7. That's 76. Then I subtracted 6 from 9, and I got 3. Then I brought down the 2, and I needed to regroup. Well, actually, first I needed to see what 32 could be divided by. Now I looked at my 19, and I thought about it as 20, and 20 plus 20 would be 40. It would be too large to multiply by 2. So I did 19 times 1, and I got 19. Then I regrouped. I borrowed 1 from the 3, so I could subtract 9 from 12, and I got 3. Then I took 2, subtract 1, and I got 1, and that is my remainder. So my answer is 41, remainder 13. Now, my next problem, they made it nice and easy. They already did the estimation for us, so we can just look at that first digit and look at the 6. 3 goes into 6 2 times, so I can think 30 goes into 60 2 times. 30 times 2 is 60. I subtract. I get 0. I bring down the 0. 30 goes into 0 0 times. 30 times 0 is 0, is 0, and there we go. We are good. 20 is our answer to B. All right, my next problem that I need to look at is 29 going into 121. So the first thing that I do when I look at this is I think about 29 as 30, and I think about 121 as 120. So I think, okay, how many times does 3 go into 12? And I think, okay, that's about 4 times, correct? So I'm going to go multiply this times 4. Now, as I showed you before, you can do 29 times 4 like this. All right. And you can get 9 times 4 is 36. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 3. You can get 116. Or I can do it up here too. 9 times 4 is 36. I put my 3 up here. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. Now I need to subtract. I need to regroup because that is not going to work. So then I have 11 subtract 6. That is 5. My answer for C is 4, the remainder of 5. All right. Now, if I wanted to check my work, I could do 29 times 4, which I have right here, and I get 116. Then I add the 5. 6 plus 5 is 11. 1 plus 1 is 2, and 121. And they match. All right, let's go on to D. For D, I have 29 going into 900. I'm going to think about this as 30. So 30 goes into 90 3 times, correct? So the first thing that I will do is I will put my 3 up above my 0. So 9 times 3 is 27. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. I will subtract, regroup. 10 subtract 7 is 3. Bring down my 0. How many times does 29 go into 30? Once. 29 times 1 is 29. I will subtract, regroup. So I, for D, should get 31, remainder 1. Now let's move on to E. E, I'm going to look at this 48 as a 50. And 50 goes in, 5 goes into 8 only 1 time, correct? So it goes in there once, because guess what? 50 plus 50 is 100. That's just too big. So I know that 48 times 1 is 48. I'll subtract 7. 12 subtract 8 is 4. 7 subtract 4 is 3. So 34. I need to bring down my 9. So I'm looking at it at that as 50. And I'm thinking, and this as 350. And I'm thinking 50 goes into 350 about 7 times, correct? So 8 times 7 is 56. Put the 5 there. 4 times 7 is 28. 28 plus 5 is 31. 28 plus 5 is 33. Excuse me, I got distracted for a moment. All right, now I need to subtract. And here we go. 9 subtract 6 is 3. 4 subtract 3 is 1. So my answer for E is 17, remainder 13. All right, I'm going to flip this over for a little more practice. We're just going to do F and I. All right, now on this one, I really like this one because I just switch it around, correct? I just switch it around. I look at this for F. I look at this 29 as a 30, and 3 goes into 12 about 4 times. So I put my 4 up here. 9 times 4 is 36. I put my 3 here. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 3, that's 11. Now I subtract and I have to regroup. So 11 subtract 6 is 5. Then I bring down my 0. So 29 goes into 50. Well, if I have that as 30 and I multiplied it times 2, it'd be 60, which is too large. So I know it will go in there once. 29 times 1 is 29. I subtract. I have to regroup. 10 subtract 9 is 1. 4 subtract 2 is 2. My answer for F is 41, remainder 21. All right, and I put I in there just because I liked it. All right, I look at this as 40. The 39 is 40, and I know that 4 goes into 12 3 times, correct? So I'm going to put my 3 over here because it's actually 40 into 120. So 9 times 3 is 27. I put my 2 there. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. And then I need to subtract. And I get 10 subtract 7 is 3. I bring down my 0 because I know both 1 subtract 1 is 0, 1 subtract 1 is 0. All right, 39 goes into 30 0 times. It can't go in there, correct? So 39 times 0 is 0. I subtract, I have 30. 30 becomes my remainder. All right. Was a fairly short lesson today. Good luck with all of your math, and hopefully we will see you at 10 o'clock. All right, bye-bye.